You see me have to work. You see me do me da. So me better work.
Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brittany, and if you haven't yet, you better get your shit together and hit that subscribe button down below. But today I am so fucking excited because we finally have our hands on the new FENTY BEAUTY by Rihanna Collection. This makeup line is probably the most hyped up makeup brand I have ever seen, and they did it so right. They didn't show sneak peeks of nothing. You didn't know what the fuck to expect. Every brand needs to look at this and be like, holy shit, they're coming in hot. They have 40 foundation shades. They go from super light to deep, deep dark. They just did overall for their first launch, amazing. So naturally, I'm even more excited because it can reach such a huge range of people. That alone made me really want to dig into this brand because I know it will hit a huge range of people. But I didn't pick up everything just because I knew some of the stuff I wouldn't use on a regular, but let's face it, I picked up mostly everything. And this was not sent to me. This is everything that I bought with my hard-earned money. I picked up everything from Sephora, and I will leave everything linked down below where you can pick it up if you are interested in anything. So enough with the long-ass intro. What we're going to do today is our first impressions on everything in this line that I picked up. So if you guys want to see my first impressions on FENTY BEAUTY by Rihanna, let's jump right in and let's do this! Alright, so let's pull our hair up, get it out of our face. So, yes, I'm going to look really fucking good right now. Alright, so I'm just going to go in the order that I would normally apply everything. So, first thing would be for me is the primer. This is the Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer. I've heard that this is more of a moisturizing primer. I typically like to have something that is for my pores, but we still want to see if this works today for hydration purposes. So, already looking at the packaging, I love it. It's given me really close to like the Kim KW vibes, but I do not think that was intentional, but I love it. I think it's super sleek. It's kind of like a cross between the KKW Beauty and Becca Cosmetics packaging. So this is the primer. So we're going to go in and apply this. And I just use my fingers, and then I'll kind of show it. I really like how it has a pump as well. So I'm going to take that much right there, and then I'm just going to apply this all over my face. Oh my god, my forehead is so dry right now. I'm trying to think of what it smells like. It doesn't have like a fruity smell or anything. It kind of just smells like makeup, if you know what I mean. But this feels like it's going to be a really good base for foundation because it's kind of like, it kind of feels like a moisturizer, but then it kind of feels like tacky. So I feel like your foundation is going to stick to it really well. And then I'm just going to put this all over my face. I really like the consistency of it because it's not like super thick. It's not super thin. It still feels hydrating on the skin. And then I'm going to grab my mirror to see if this did anything for my pores. It does look like it blurred my pores a little bit. They're not as filled as I would typically like them to be, but it did help a little bit. So I'm okay with that. So that's it for the primer. And then the next thing I'm going to go in with is the Pro Filter Foundation. So I really like how the box is different because then I could tell the difference between the primer and the foundation. Because I'm one of those weirdos that keeps all of my new products in boxes for the longest time. So I really like that the boxes are different. So we're going to take this out. And I picked up the shade 190. So let's see what this looks like. And I really like how there's like a box inside of the box just so it feels like your product is really protected. So this is what the foundation looks like. It is different than the primer, which is nice. This has more of a nude top, and then this has the white. So I really like that. You can tell the difference between these two. So we're going to put that down. And then, like I said, this is the shade 190. This is for like light to medium skin. I got a little bit lighter because I know I'm going to be losing my tan. So this is for light to medium skin with neutral undertones. That's another thing I really like on the Sephora website. It tells you when you click over the swatches, it tells you exactly what undertones to look for and the shade range that you're in. So this one, like I said, says light to medium skin tones with neutral undertones. So I automatically knew that this was the one that would probably work best for me. It might be a little bit light for me right now, but I'm okay with that. And then to apply it, they do have a makeup brush, but I picked up the sponge. And this comes in a box, which I really like. And then it is also individually packaged inside of the box. So I wanted to show you guys this because I want to see if it expands when you add water because I do always dampen my sponge. So this is what the sponge size originally looks like. I'm gonna go get this wet really quick, and then I will show you guys what it looks like after I run it under some water. All right, so I just got my sponge wet, and you will definitely see that this does indeed double in size. This is reminding me a lot of the EcoTool sponge. As you can see, the shapes are very similar, but the texture of it feels a lot like a normal beauty blender. It's really soft, it's really squishy, so I am really excited to try this out. And then, like I said, I always use a sponge to apply almost all of my liquid products, so I felt like this would be the best option for me. So now we're just gonna go in with the foundation. It does say to shake well, and then what I'm gonna do is just apply it right to my hand, and then I'll show you guys the consistency of this. It does look really liquidy. I doubt I'll need that much, but I really want you guys to see the consistency of it. So really liquidy foundation. So let's see the coverage on this bad bitch. All right, then normally I just go in. Yeah, this is definitely going to be really light for me right now, but we're gonna make it work. Really light for me right now. All right, so it is blending out really well. Another thing I wanted to add about the primer, I noticed that when it does dry, it does give you more of like it almost feels like a BB creams on your face. How it gives you like, once it sets, it kind of gets like a powdery finish. It's so weird because usually for primers, it doesn't do something like that. This is where I'm really gonna see the coverage on this foundation using a sponge. Now, if you're somebody that likes more coverage, you probably will want to use a brush because typically you get more coverage using a brush, but I like how the sponge almost picks up the product so it doesn't give you that cakey look, because mama cakes up really easily. So this is covering actually really well. I'd say it's like a medium, but it's so thin I feel like it's going to be really buildable, which is nice. Especially since people like me, I always get spots like these where I get that massive pimple. So it's like I only need it in that area for the most part. I definitely should have gotten a lighter or a darker shade because this is super light for me right now. But I know we're going into the winter months now, so this will eventually match me. But maybe if I fall in love with this foundation, I'll pick up another one. And then I do go right over my lid space as well. The only thing I'm not too crazy about is I really like foundations that look like they melt into your skin, whereas this on me right now looks like it sits on top of the skin. But I know that's something that could change over time as it wears on your skin. All right, so I'm going to go over certain areas to see if this is buildable. And I have heard this does oxidize as well when it dries. So if you are worried about your shade range, you might want to get a shade lighter, just in case. Yeah, this is definitely buildable, which is very nice. I actually feel like it looks better on my skin as you build it. I've never seen that with a foundation. Now, as far as for my texture and pores, I don't think that this emphasizes that at all, but I don't think it masks it either. Like, I still notice them looking at it, but maybe when we set with powder, it will help mask it a little bit. But as of right now, I could still notice my pores. The texture on my forehead isn't looking terrible, but it's still there. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more. And then I always go down my neck, especially now since my foundation's way lighter than it should be. But it's actually matching my neck not too far off. Once I bronze and everything, everything will be okay. I feel like this is looking really good so far though. As far as it's not emphasizing texture, it does look like it sits on top of the skin, but it doesn't look heavy. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel cakey. It doesn't feel oily, anything like that. It's actually feeling really nice, really lightweight on the skin right now. All right, so we're gonna call it good on the foundation. I did have to add quite a bit of this, so it is probably because it's a more liquidy consistency, and I do like more full coverage. So if you're somebody that likes a really light cover foundation, it does start as like a medium coverage, I would say. But if you do like that more full coverage, it's very buildable and it layers really, really nicely. Like I don't see any like cakiness or anything anywhere. Other than that, I think it covered really nice, very buildable. I'm happy with it so far. All right, so the next thing up is going to be the Matchstick Trio. Again, I love the packaging on this, and check this shit out right now. These are magnetic. How cool is that? This packaging is fire. Again, it's giving me that KKW beauty vibes, but I love it. I love that these are all magnetic. So I picked up the shade Light. I feel like it's going to be too light for me. I was debating between light and medium, so I went with light. We'll see how it works. Cream contouring is something I don't do often, but I felt like these were such a big part of the collection that I had to at least pick something up. So first thing we're gonna go in with is the contour, and I picked up the shade Amber. This is the one I think is going to be way too cool tone for me, but you never know until you try it. So we're gonna try this one out. I love the packaging on this, so let's just go in and we're gonna go really light. Oh my God, I love how like creamy this feels. And then I have a 5 head, so I really like to contour that area. Little in the jawline. Now I say I feel like this is gonna look too light on me just because I look really warm. So this is more cool toned than I would typically go for. And then I'm just gonna use the sponge and try to blend that out. Cool tone usually looks really muddy on me, so I'm so nervous for this part. This side's probably gonna look like crap because I have that massive pimple right there. But let's give it a shot. Blending out real easily, which is very nice. Like I said, this is something I don't do often. But if you're looking for more of that natural look, this could be an excellent product for you. I just feel like this step is almost like so tedious for me. All right, so reaction on those, you could definitely see where it picks up on the foundation. So that is a huge con for me with these. Yeah, it's definitely moving around my foundation. I don't know if it's because I'm using a sponge. Let's try using a brush to blend this out. I'm just gonna use my Morphe E6. Let's try using a brush to see if this works. No, I think that looks even worse. And I'm not pushing down hard at all. That's totally lifting up on my foundation. Now that looks good. Yeah, it's like the cheeks look good, but the forehead, not so much. Maybe it's because my forehead is super dry right now, so maybe I should try using an oil to blend that out. But I hope you guys could see that where, like, you could definitely, I could see it right there. Yeah, because down here it's blending out. It's blending out super nice down here. It's just the forehead. So maybe if you have dry areas, this might not work ideally for you in those areas. I'm really happy with the color though. I don't feel like it looks too cool. It doesn't make me look ashy or anything like that. Definitely not as warm as I like to look. This is where I'm not happy with the product. Let me try adding a little bit more. This could be a totally wrong move to make, but let's try adding a little bit more, because it could be too I let it dry too much. So maybe you should apply it and blend it out quickly, just so it's not setting, because I do notice that these are setting in like a powder finish. Trying to get all up in that hairline. Yeah, I think that is exactly what it is. So I would recommend apply it, then blend it out, instead of applying it all over and then blending everything out, if that makes sense. Just because I just did that and it didn't move anything around, and I feel like it looks better up there. So that's my first impression on that. I think the cheeks look decent. The side, it looks shitty just because of that pimple is driving me absolutely crazy. That is what happens to my face when I stop using my skincare. And then down here, it blended out really well. So I'm happy with that. I would definitely recommend, like I said, don't let it set first. Make sure you blend it out as soon as you apply it. So next thing is going to be this highlighter shade. This I'll be using in place of a concealer. And I love the shade. It looks like a really light yellow. So I'm going to use this in all the areas that I would usually use my concealer. So I'm going to apply it in like a triangle motion under my eyes. I'm going to use a sponge for this just because I never use brushes under my eyes. And then I'm going to blend it out before it sets. We're going to learn from our mistakes on the contour. Oh, these blend out so easily. Yeah, that's definitely way better. Blend it out as soon as you apply it. You probably don't need to use as much as I'm using, but this is what I would typically do, especially since we're not using an actual concealer. But you guys see how easily that's blending out? Looking so good. And that is not picking up on my foundation either. I'll put the lid back on, blend this out. Yeah, I just prefer using a sponge so much more than a brush. But not everybody's like me. You do with whatever you are comfortable with. Do you see how easy that blends? So easily, so nicely, and it's so lightweight. You guys see like where I had applied it? Where it breaks up on my foundation? So maybe it's just because I'm super dry up here right now. Let's try it one more time. I'm so mad because I want these to work in the worst way. No, that is not looking cute on my skin right now. I hope you guys can see that because I see it with my eyes. So I really hope you guys can see that. I'm going to go over it just because that is just a lost cause for me. Maybe it's because I'm using a sponge. I'm going to try it one more time because I want this to work. We're going to try doing it with a brush because maybe these aren't meant to be used with a sponge. So let's blend this out. This is just my Morphe M439 brush. Just trying to get that little patch covered now. And I'm doing super light strokes on my face. Okay, that's looking a lot better. Still can see it a little bit, so I'm gonna go in with a little bit more. Just because that really picked up on my foundation. So I would say use a brush for these products. And use really light hands. All right, so I'm gonna call it good for right there. I would recommend use a brush. Don't let it dry down before you blend it out. And that's at least my reaction. So next thing up is going to be the highlight shade, and this is in the shade Starstruck. I don't know if I told you guys, but I use the shade Linen for the highlight. So we're going to use this shade right here. I know you can use these with your finger as well to help heat up the product, so that's what we're going to try with this. So I'm just going to put it on my index finger, and then we're just going to apply it to our cheekbones. And then you can also apply it right to the cheeks, but I think it looks really harsh that way, so we're going to apply it to the finger or to a sponge or to a brush and then apply it that way. So I feel like this gives you a little bit of glow, not too much, at least the way that I'm using it. We'll go in on the other side. It could be getting washed out by the lights, but You can see a little bit of something there. These aren't meant to be like crazy intense, I don't think. All right, so I just tried dabbing my face with a sponge and I noticed my foundation started to pick up. So I feel like the best option for these products, honestly, because that was the foundation, I feel like the best option for these is going to be use a brush. I don't think they're meant to be used with a sponge. Do I like the sponge? I really do like the sponge, but I don't think it is ideal for these products. I think a brush is almost necessary. So if you guys want me to do a wear test, I will do one side with a brush and one side with a sponge so you guys can see how it wears. So if you guys do want to see that video, leave it in the comments down below. But that's just my natural first impression. I feel like with a brush, it's going to look so much better. Granted, it looks decent right now, but I feel like it's going to look better with a brush. So let me know if you guys want to see that. And then we'll move on to the next product. So these products, first impression of them, I'm not crazy about them. I love the packaging on these. I love that you could like stick them all together. I think that was genius. I also wanted to add in here how much product you get. Like if you push the product all the way to the top, that is how much product you get. I feel like though this will last a really long time because it doesn't look like you get a lot of product, but as you use it, like it barely looks like I used anything. So I feel like the product, it doesn't look like a lot, but it looks like it's going to last a lot longer, if that makes sense. I know with the KKW Beauty, I didn't buy those or anything like that, but people were complaining you had to use so much product because it was so creamy. Like this is still creamy, but it's not like super creamy, you know what I mean? So it's like you don't need to use a lot of product. All right, so let's move on to the next product. Next product is going to be a product that I was not going to buy until I saw the packaging of it. So we're going to use the Invisimatte blotting powder. Normally, I like a translucent loose setting powder, but this one, first of all, look at the packaging on it. It is so beautiful, but the product that I'm going to use with it is what solely sold me on this product. Let me find it real quick. Okay, I found it. So this is what sold me on this right here because I thought this would be perfect for travel. You have your blotting powder, and then this is a mini little angle brush. Watch this shit. You guys ready for this? It latches together. How amazing is that? I saw that and I'm like, done. I honestly did 2 separate transactions and bought this after the fact. So the blotting powder does come, it looks like this. It does come with a little puff, but I never use these. I never honestly usually blot anyways, but I just loved the thought behind this. I thought that was pure genius, so I'm like, okay, I have to have it. So I'm gonna go in with this little brush and set all the areas that I would typically crease. I noticed that that banana shade from the contour sticks, it is creasing under my eyes, so that is normal. So you're definitely going to want to set that product. I just love the thought about, like, can you guys see right there? That's where I had to go in and put more product because I had an itch on my face, so I tried using the sponge. Don't do that because it just picks up the product and moves it. All right, so I feel like this brush will be really good for blotting purposes, but as far as for setting my entire face, it's going to take way too long. So I'm going to take my Sephora 55 brush and just kind of go in. Like you can see how much faster this brush is. So this is the brush that we're going to use for the purpose of the video, but I feel like that brush will be good for on the go because it's small, it's compact, it magnetizes to the palette, which I think it's just so genius. I love that idea. And then I always set my entire face, but I especially set my T-zone because that is where I always break up. So this is layering really nicely on top of the foundation. I feel like it's giving me a little bit of a blurring effect, which is nice because that is what I look for with a powder. But again, that is why I typically use a loose powder because I just like how it really helps fill in my pores more. But this is looking really nice on the skin. I'm so curious to do a wear test on these products now. As far as for this powder, so far so good. It layers on top nicely. Do I know how it wears? No, because I just put it on. And I feel like this brush is really good for travel because it's small, it's compact, it can fit right in your purse, and it'll magnetize right to your palette. Like, how cute is that? So I definitely think that is a good idea. But as far as for how this stuff wears, I won't know until I do an actual wear test. So that is my first impression on these. I think they're First impression good, but we'd have to see how they wear over time. So again, I love the packaging. That is like the standout part of this product here is the packaging. I love it. All right, so since she didn't come out with a bronzer or anything like that, I'm gonna go in with those powders, and then the next thing I use is the highlight. So I'm just gonna kind of amp up this a little bit, and then I'll be right back after I get that done. All right, so I'm all set with my powders, at least as good as they're gonna get for right now. I'm honestly not loving how it looks at this point, but we're gonna keep on going because it could change. We'll see how it goes. So for my contour, I use the Tarte Tarteist Contour Palette. I use the Tarte Big Blush Book 3. And then I use my Becca Sunlit Bronzer in a Panama Sun, which I already know that I love all these products. And it's not that they applied badly over the foundation. It's just like I just don't feel like I like how my skin is looking. But once I set it with a setting spray, things could all change after that. So I'm going to keep going. So next product up is going to be the Killawatt Freestyle Highlighter Duo, and I got the shade Hustla Baby in Mean Money. So let's see, again, they have the packaging is incredible. It's like a box inside of a box, so you feel like your product is really well protected, and the packaging is just so good. I love all the packaging. It's super luxurious feeling, and if you look really closely as you turn it, it turns like a duochrome, like pinkish, bluish, but it looks white. It's so cool. I love the packaging on these. So this is what the inside of it looks like. The reality of me actually using that on a regular basis is slim. This is more of something that I would use all the time. So I'm going to take my Morphe M501 brush. They do say that one side is meant to be a more natural highlight and then the other side is more like amp it up. So what I want to do is add the natural one by itself first. So I'm just going to go with my brush and then apply it here. These honestly remind me a lot of the Smashbox and Casey Holmes highlighters. At least the consistency of them reminds me a lot of that. And then hers are like the same thing, whereas one is meant to be like a more natural and then a more intense and then an even more intense, you know what I mean? So I feel like this is really similar to those. And on my skin, this gives me a little something very natural, which is nice for daytime. So I could definitely roll with that for sure during the daytime. And so this first one that I used was Mean Money, so that is this highlight here. On the other side, I'm going to do Hustla Baby by itself, and then back on this side, I will do Hustla Baby on top of Mean Money. So let's go in with this one by itself on the other side. I typically like a more glowing highlight, so this one's probably going to be much more up my alley. Very, very pretty. Can you guys see that? Trying to look at my viewfinder, that's right in front of me. But this would be a typical highlight for me. I like something that's more in your face, but I could definitely see me wearing this during the daytime for sure. So I'm gonna add a little bit more over this here. I almost picked up the brush. I had it in my hand when I was at the mall the other day, but it just wasn't a brush that I would typically go for. This is always the highlight brush that I use. Again, this is the Morphe M501, but the brush in the collection was super soft. All right, so this is Hustla Baby by itself. This is Mean Money by itself, and now we're gonna add that Hustla Baby right over the top of this one here. Oh, that layers really nicely over the top of that. Really nicely over the top. I feel like it looks the exact same on each side though. So as far as layering, you could, at least on my skin, it's like you could use just the one by itself because they realistically don't look much different. If anything, I think it looks more beaming on this side. What do you guys think? Maybe not. I feel like they look so similar, it's almost unnecessary to put this one underneath. But if you're going for like a day to night and you want to throw this in your purse, you could just pop this right over the top of what you had on during the day. That is totally ideal. So first impression of this, I really love this side for nighttime, or, I mean, I would wear this during the day. I wouldn't even give a fuck. But this one I do feel like is really nice for the daytime. I think the formula is really nice and creamy. So this is probably my favorite product so far. is this one here. I'm not even going to do hand swatches because I feel like they're redundant at this point. This is what you want to see, is it actually on your skin, and I feel like it looks amazing, so I'm okay with that. So this so far is my favorite product, no doubt, which I'm not surprised because I love me some highlights. They're my favorite products by far. So the next product that I got was the blotting powders. This I obviously won't use today. I bought this solely just for something to put in my purse. So this is the packaging on it. I love that you could put this roll of paper in here. You close it up, but then it has a mirror on it, and then you can cut your own length blotting papers, which I think is amazing because a lot of the times you could buy blotting papers in a pack, but sometimes you don't need that whole piece. You know what I mean? So it's like you can cut your own. It's like wrapping paper almost. I was totally about this. I thought this would be an awesome product to throw in my purse, so that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, so now that we're finished with all the face products, I'm going to go in, fill in my brows, get everything all together, and then I will finish up with the lip product, which I was so surprised that she only had one lip product, but I'm sure she'll get there. So let me finish everything up, and then I'll come back in just a minute. Okay, I'm finally back. I got my eyes done, my lashes on, my brows are finally done. Little unruly today, but we made it work. Now we're gonna move on to the lip products. So the only lip product that she came out with was a gloss, and that is in the shade Fenty Glow Lip Gloss. And again, the packaging is incredible. I love it. It's more of like the size of a travel size lip gloss, but I can't wait to put this on my lips because I am a gloss girl. I love lip glosses. I have absolutely nothing on my lips, so you guys will see the true color of this lip gloss. So let's go in and apply it. And right away, the doe foot is massive. It is a lot like the Tarte Shape Tape applicator. It's a very big doe foot, but I ain't mad about that at all. So let's get this on our lips. It smells like strawberries. That smells really good. I'm going to add a little bit more because I love me some glossy lips. Yeah, it smells exactly like strawberries. It smells so good. But as you guys can see, it is super glossy. It does not feel sticky at all. It does not feel tacky. It feels very comfortable, very hydrating on the lips. The color on my lips is a lot lighter than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be pretty dark, but I think it looks very good. My lips look very juicy. I love this lip gloss. Again, I am a lip gloss girl, so I can always appreciate a bomb-ass lip gloss. So the last thing I wanted to do on camera is actually set my face. I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. I just wanted to see if my foundation actually like melts into my skin, just because like looking at it right now, I don't love the way that my skin looks, but it's like I know my skin usually looks so much better. I've been slacking so hard with my skincare regimen, but I think the highlight is fucking popping. I think it looks beautiful on the eyes. I think the only thing that I'm concerned about is just the foundation, so I really want to see if it breaks up when applying a setting spray to it. So let's go in and apply this. Alright, so now that my skin has dried down since spraying my face, I feel like my foundation does look a lot better than it did. Does it look like my favorite foundation in the world? Not at this point. I'd be really curious to see how it works with a brush. So I do think I'm going to do a wear test on this foundation because I want to know how this shit wears. Because I really do have high hopes for this foundation and this product line. I think what she did was absolutely amazing. I think what she stands for is absolutely amazing. I just feel like she did everything so right when it came to this line. So I will definitely be repurchasing from this brand because it's just amazing. I think every brand needs to take a little bit of something from what the community has seen from this brand. So to wrap this video up, I'm going to go through everything real quick and start with the primer. I thought this was amazing. I love this. I think that it made my skin look less textured, less porous, so I definitely will be hanging on to this. Moving on to the makeup sponge. I love this makeup sponge. I want to try it with other foundations to see if it performs better because I feel like the foundation for this line performs better or will perform better with a brush. But first impression of this, I really liked it. It's super bouncy, it's super soft. It doubles in size when you wet it, so I really like that. And then foundation, I am still kind of up in the air about the foundation right now. The more that I wear it, the better I think it looks, but I've only been wearing it for like probably a good hour now. But I'd be really curious to do a wear test on this, so I do think I'm going to do that. So stay tuned for this on my channel because I do want to do the wear test on that. Then we'll move on to the matchsticks. These were probably the biggest fail for me just because I, one, don't use cream contour products too often, but these just didn't perform the way that I expected them to. I expected them, like, they were still really creamy and easy to blend out, but they picked up on that foundation when using a sponge. So I will try these again, but just for my first impressions, these were not my favorite. So that's that for the matchsticks. And then we'll move on to the invisible powder and brush. I think this packaging was completely genius. I love the idea that you could put this in your purse and take it with you and they magnetize together. I just love this. I feel like this did blur my pores even more. Even though I still prefer a loose powder, I feel like this performed very well so far on my skin. I would be using this with the foundation in the review, so stay tuned for this again to see how this wears, how this touches up, all that fun stuff. So stay tuned for more of this product, but first impression of it, I do feel like it was a nice pressed powder. I also don't notice if I mentioned that you do purchase these separate. I kind of wish they did a package deal with these two just because they do magnetize together. So I wish they did group these together at a discounted price just so you can get like a buy one, get one a little bit less expensive, if that makes sense. But that was the only thing that I would change about that as far as buying them separately. I wish they did group them together in a bundle. So that is my thoughts on that product. Next one up will be the highlight. This was probably the standout product for me. Like, look at that highlight. That shit is popping. I will say that I feel like these, when you swatch them with your fingers, they do look very glittery. On the skin, they do not look that way. Like, they just look shimmery. They look beautiful. I would definitely recommend to try these on your face instead of just finger swatching them. That goes for everything. I'm one of those people that I kind of feel like finger swatches are redundant at this point. So I always recommend try it on your skin. That is ultimately the way that you're going to be using it. But this one in Mean Money and Hustle Baby was phenomenal. I love this. And then last but not least will be the lip gloss. Come on. This shit is popping. This shit is good. Just look at my lips. They look juicy. They look full. They look nice. There is nothing on underneath them. It has a little bit of color to it, but not too much. I feel like this gives me like a my lips but better look, and I am all about that. I feel like this will be very nice to throw on top of any lip color, so really like this. We'll definitely be hanging on to this. So my overall first impression of Fenty Beauty was, I feel like they killed it. I feel like they did such a good job, especially for their very first launch. I think every brand needs to take tips from what they did when launching this. Like, they kept everything a secret, so nobody knew what to expect, and it was just a big surprise. They came out with a ballin'-ass shade range. Like, they just did such a good job. So I definitely applaud them for such an amazing job. I think their products are amazing so far. They need to expand for sure, especially, like, give us some more lip products. Come on, give us those lip products. So that is all for my first impressions for Fenty Beauty. I am so happy with everything that I purchased. So stay tuned for a wear test with the foundation and probably all the products. But if you guys want to see all the products or just the foundation, let me know. Or any requests that you have for the first impressions, leave them in the comments down below. But that is everything for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys do like these videos, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel before you guys leave, and don't forget to hit the little notification bell so you get notified when I upload new videos. So other than that, that is everything for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys in my next one. Peace!